broke that Ghana's embassy in Washington, D.C. had been temporarily closed following some fraudulent activities ongoing there by the staff. An audit sanctioned by the Foreign Minister Samuel Okudzeto-Ablakwa revealed a damning finding of diversion of customers from the embassy's official website to private individuals, costing the state millions of dollars. Joining us in studio is Dennis Paberi Wadam Esquire. He has been reading through the specifics of what the sector minister, put out on social media. He has details for us. Dennis, good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening, Martin.
Okay, so what else do we know about the closure of Ghana's mission in Washington?
Well, so the foreign minister has been speaking. He has actually been the first to let this out of bag, if I may put it that way, to the effect that the Ghana's embassy in Washington, D.C. has now been temporarily closed down. There's also been a dismissal of one officer called Mr. Fred Quating, who was a local staff. This staff, we understand, was recruited somewhere August 11, 2017 to the embassy, and he was in charge of the embassy's IT department. He's allegedly been involved in some dealings that have now found him into trouble. That's to say that, according to the minister, he had actually admitted to having created what they say is an authorized link on the embassy's website, which then diverted passport and then visa applications to a company that he owned. This company in question is called Ghana Travel Consultants, GTC. And there, he charged extra for multiple services on the blind side of the ministry. The ministry says that this is not authorized and that the proceeds that come from this, they are not charges that have been approved by the ministry. And I mean, you know, usually when they are doing these charges and fees, these are charges and fees that are approved by Parliament. He says that the extra that this person charges for those services provided are not fees that have been approved by Parliament, and to that extent, they are deemed illegal. And that investigations also revealed that there were some other collaborators who operated this particular scheme for at least 5 years. According to the minister, this conduct has been reported to the Attorney General. Besides him being fired, there's a possibility that this person or these persons should be prosecuted and the monies also retrieved. There have also been other actions that the ministry has taken, that all the Ministry of Foreign Affairs staff who have been posted to the Washington, D.C., they've been recalled home with immediate effect, that the embassy's IT department itself has been dissolved, and that all locally recruited staff at the embassy have also been suspended. He also goes on to indicate that the Attorney General has been invited to conduct a forensic examination of all transactions to determine the total cost of this elaborate fraudulent scheme, because in their estimation, this cost the state some money. And then finally, that Ghana's embassy in Washington shall be closed for a few days, like you mentioned, as they want to finalize an ongoing restructuring and the systems overhaul. They apologize, and he says that he has the firm support of the President John Dramani Mahama to do what he has done. So basically, that's what is happening in that space, as has been disclosed by the Minister for Foreign Affairs.
Okay. And we also know that some reactions have been coming in. Do we know if the sector minister has said anything else beyond just the statement he put out?
Well, he indicates that there will be more updates, and we are still looking forward to those updates. Not as we are here now, we haven't had any information on those updates.
Okay. Dennis Paberi Wadam, thank you so much for those updates from the Foreign Affairs Minister's post regarding the closure of Ghana's mission in Washington, D.C. Ghana has two missions in the United States of America. One is in New York, and the second is in Washington. And they are two very busy missions. So for government to decide to close down a very busy institution that allows and or permits people in and out of Ghana from the United States raises a lot of questions, asking what kind of thinking process went into this final decision to close the mission down, albeit temporarily. We'll try and get further answers to this particular question for you as the bulletin wears on. But like the minister indicated, there was a particular gentleman known as Fred Quating of the IT department. He is the specific one who has been dismissed, and not just him, but the entirety of the workers there. And also, let's put this particularly in context, some people have been employed in, within the United States to work at the mission. All those people, according to the minister, have also been dismissed or asked to go. Ghanaians who were working in the mission from Ghana have also been recalled to come back or return to the country. So it looks as though a lot is happening very quickly. So we'll try and get you some better understanding on this. But in the meantime, let's bring you another observation that we have made, that the minority in Parliament, or the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee, I should say, Nana Asafweje, has called the move by the minister as hasty and undiplomatic, and stressing that embassies provide more than just consular services. He expressed concern that staff were stripped of diplomatic privileges without formal internal communication, and that declaring them persona non grata publicly could damage Ghana's diplomatic image. He urged for more tact and discretion in handling such sensitive matters, stating that diplomacy demands subtlety, not public showmanship. So let's go to the phone lines now and pick the thoughts of International Relations and Security Analyst, Dr. Victor Doke. Doc, good evening and thank you for joining us on 3FM.
Hello, Martin. Your voice is rather very low.
My voice is low?
I can't really hear you.
It's not clear. Okay. We'll try and see if the connection is better, or maybe I need to reposition myself. But while I do that, let me throw in my first question and see if you can hear me, and then give us an answer to that. And that question will be that, as someone who's watched the diplomatic space, would you say that the decision by government is the best diplomatic response to a fraud scandal?
Oh, thank you very much. With regards to this issue, we are looking at a situation where the information technology aspect run by an individual is compromised. Now, from the time the data or the reports that the minister put out October last year, a lot can happen even in a week when you talk about the IT system in Iran. This is very unfortunate. Now, to even detect now that an embassy has this kind of illegal process going, one, it's very, very unfortunate. Two, it means internal security with regards to the embassy was compromised. And therefore, you need to ascertain how many people were in the known apart from the gentleman, right? So if the reports that have been put out was just a preliminary one, when the minister knows that there are more to it, and then he just wanted to put just a little bit out for an extensive investigation to go on, thereby everybody else is affected. One, we need to understand that Ghana is a founding nation. It can decide to close down or reopen any embassy or an embassy where and when and how it chooses to. With regards to this, we are looking at the security of the embassy, the security data that is very sensitive. Let's not forget, we've had prominent people from this country going to the United States. There has been, correspondence with regards to the embassy office to Ghana and via. What has gone out, or what has the gentleman carried out? Is our security system compromised? Is our information with regards to the embassy compromised? That is what we need to find out. And if it's unfortunate that everybody has to be put aside, but if it means that we are going to ascertain what has gone out, we are talking about the country's sovereignty, the security aspect. And an embassy represents a country in itself, in any other country you find yourself. Okay? So we need to ascertain what really went on, and if it means that everybody has to go. And that is why I come back to the issue that when it comes to the aspect of national security, it is very paramount. And to the extent that we have to go to ascertain whether our national security is compromised, would have to take it.
And what would you say about the way the information in itself was given? I mean, I think the entirety of the country woke up to the post, just the single post of the minister. And many are asking, like you're also asking, whether or not maybe the gentleman in question has already been picked up or he's just been let go, considering the fact that lots of information and sensitive data passed through his hands. So the general handling of the situation itself has come up for question. How does that sit with you?
Well, I think I agree with what other people are saying. The handling, the information dissemination was what needs to be looked at in the future. You would expect that a more, very formal info outputs will be communicated to Ghanaians and not through a social media post. What even from that time to now, we haven't had any formal. Yes, it's a social media post. It can be taken into consideration, but we need a more formal, communication from the said minister, and then an update from that time to now, hours have passed. What has gone wrong with regards to ordinary investigations? What has he got? Yes, we are not asking him to come and put every detail out in the public, but then an update means you can tell us if you are step 1 or step 2, what has gone in it so far, who else is involved, are people going to go back or everybody will be affected? We need to look at all those things. I think we need to look at how we disseminate information so as not to, cause unnecessary tensions and all of that.
Right, and there's also this bit about the United States having to be involved. Would you advise, for instance, that maybe we get U.S. services involved, security services that is, or investigative agencies in the U.S. involved in this since it is directly on their land?
We choose to. It is not a must, but we just choose to. It only comes into question when and if a U.S. citizen is involved in the illegality, where you can ask for an assistance with regards to that person through the agencies of the United States. But other than that, you choose to. For example, if this gentleman lives in the country permanently, then you need to probably effect an arrest or whatever. Who does that? You need to involve the authorities in there. So yes, there is going to be some kind of collaboration and all of that in trying to understand what really went on. We need to do an extensive networking with regards to trying to find out those who were involved. So I think, yes, at some point, they may need to involve the authorities or agencies in the host nation. But by and large, it all depends on the minister and the authorities, whether it really necessitates. The investigations and the outcomes also will determine whether it's really necessary. The aspect of the individual or individuals involved is unculpable, and their willingness to cooperate would also mean that you would not need to involve the authorities in there. If there's resistance from their part, there's information not coming in, then be rest assured that authorities can now relay to the authorities in the U.S. for assistance to arrest these persons. So yes, just like how we have Interpol, we relay information, for example, to Interpol agencies in other countries for collaboration on arrest. We can also do the same. So it's as and when necessary.
Okay. I know you've indulged us, but maybe the last question before you take leave of us. The minority, for instance, the ranking member on the Foreign Affairs Committee in Parliament, say that the mission in Washington does not only issue or manage consular services, but they do more than that. So a strict decision to close down the embassy could have further implications than what we are assuming. How does that sit with you? And is it possible that this could have some diplomatic friction between us and maybe people from other countries that may have wanted to go through the Washington mission?
I don't think it would have any major, I use the major consequences. The minor ones are, for example, you need to still keep up your political deck. You need to monitor, take up intelligence. You need to engage. So these ones will be interrupted temporarily. As to when, we don't know. And that's why I will insist that investigations and the process should be sped up as much as possible for the embassy to be reopened. But by and large, all those people that want to go through may somewhat be directed to use the other consulates in other states. But with regards to the Washington enclave, then it means you would have a limited aspect of information flow. The political space you need to monitor. You need to monitor the security, aspect also relay information. So, for example, if you have a prominent figure, coming to Ghana, you will have to relay, and that channel has been broken. On the diplomatic front, it doesn't really cause any uproar. We all know the aspects when it comes to fighting corruption, transparency, and accountability. Every country has its own issues. So, if a country has decided that it's closing its mission temporarily because of A, B, and C, that lies in the country. Communiques would have been issued to the various authorities that heavily depend on bilateral relations with the Washington office, and they would have been in the known. So then, if they want to, engage, then they would have to find out different channels.
Right.
So let's just hope as quickly as possible issues will be resolved. Those who are exonerated would find a way back, and then those who are found guilty would be made to face the law.
Right. We are grateful for your time this evening. Thank you so much for speaking to us. You heard the voice and thoughts of Dr. Victor Doke, who is an international relations and security analyst, on Ghana's decision to close down its Washington mission, where we are told by the Foreign Affairs Minister that some fraudulent activities had taken place over a long period of time, at least for the last 5 years. One, Fred Kwarting of the IT department had been undertaking some very shady moves, on the back of which he particularly has been dismissed, and then also a number of staff who've been working there. So on the back of this development, Ghana's embassy in Washington, D.C. has been closed temporarily. Better and further information we all await from the Foreign Affairs Ministry, and when we do get that, we'll definitely put it out to you as well. But what do you make of this development? When the news broke, I personally saw a number of you reacting to it, saying that it is not just the mission in Washington, but then elsewhere around the world, Ghana's offices charge some exorbitant fees when it comes to application for visas, and then also some of you have outlined challenges you face when you try and get some assistance from our missions abroad. So do let us know in the comment section. Do you know anybody that works there? What information do you also have? Do share it with us on our Facebook page, and then also our various social media platforms, including X, and we will be happy to share it with the rest of the world. This is still 3FM 92.7. It's Hot Edition, and we have some news